we've been, like I said, we've been friends for a long time. Mm-hmm. Have you been friends in previous lives?
Yes. You've been in the Roman army together as soldiers. You were both men around the time that Jesus was on earth. One of you was involved in that whole parade, which was you. You choose not to be involved.
Okay.
And
would that be a reason why I'm not super religious?
It's a reason why you're not super religious, and you have guilt around religion.
I would explain that.
Yes, absolutely. You were assigned, and you didn't want to be because you didn't believe what the Romans were doing. But you both fought on the battlefield, and you participated in the torture of Jewish people. At that time, the torture was you put them up on the cross, and they died on the cross. Okay, that was part of.
I have Jewish heritage.
Well, that's no surprise to me. Why do you think you would come into Jewish heritage after being a Roman soldier?
So my grandma, her parents, okay, they were Jewish, and during, during everything that happened in Europe,
during World War
II, you know, everybody had to pretend you were a different religion. So they had to go to a Christian church or whatever.
Well, to survive, yeah.
To survive.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is something my grandma told my mom, like, before she passed away. And my grandma was not she would just say, just dole out the history slowly, So, yeah, it was very interesting to hear that, so.
Absolutely, because it makes sense that you would go from that lifetime to a lifetime into the Jewish religion to understand what that was all about. At the time when you were Roman soldiers, you had, what you had there was the Jewish religion and you had the Muslim religion. They were the two main religions that dominated. And of course the Roman soldiers were in power. But the whole, the whole part, I mean, we talk about Jesus Christ, who was never a Christian, and Christ, the Christ within is where, that's where Christianity came from. And we're supposed to be practicing what he preached, which of course, we all know where all that goes.
So after that, was there any after that?
Well, you had lifetimes before that. You were in Genghis Khan's army. You know who Genghis Khan is? If you don't, look him up. Okay.
Yes.
You were.
Or Genghis Khan, right?
What do you call him?
Genghis Khan.
Isn't it Genghis Khan?
Well,
it's different pronunciations.
You've American accent, I have an Irish.
Yes. Yeah.
So same thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Same person.
Same
right.
Yeah, okay.
So you were his boss in that army.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you were his boss in that army. Tell them what to do. And in another lifetime, in a life in China, you were his father. In the 17th century, you were siblings.
I believe that. Yeah.
Oh. And in what I call blue blood England, was probably around the 18th century in England, you were husband and wife. He was the husband and you were the wife.
Wow, well that makes sense.
Well, can I tell you this? You're part of the soul. You have to understand about what happens on a spiritual level before you come in to be a soul. The spiritual level, you have the masculine essence and you have the feminine essence, which has nothing to do with gender. You're the masculine essence, he's the feminine essence, meaning that you process everything through your mental body and he processes everything through his emotional body. So you might say something to him and he might come back with a very quick malarkey answer, but actually he has to take a few days to process whatever it is that he might be challenged with or whatever you're thinking or whatever you have to work through, and you might get it like this. So you have to wait to catch up with you. And that's been your dance all the way through. You've never had a really volatile relationship. You've been pretty much kindred spirit, you might say, where you complement each other, you trust each other, you're very happy to have each other in your life, which is a great gift, actually.
Yes.
Because the reason being that we don't come across too many people that we can be mentally, emotionally, and spiritually connected, where you have that intimacy.
Yeah, we like to say heterosexual life partners.
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
Yes.
that's what it is. There's an intimacy.
Yes.
Well, there's been an intimacy there all along,
Yeah.
mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And there has to be an awful lot of trust in that relationship, and it just adds to your life. Regardless of to whoever else is in your life, children, partners, there's something special about that one person. And you guys have that. You've been cultivating that for a long time.
Very true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've been cultivating
We,
it.
you know, we've been doing the podcast, well, the radio show, the podcast
Yeah.
for a long time. And it is nice.
music show.
You look for, yeah, and well, Mark, you know, we brought back the music show. But podcast, you know, it's a good excuse for us to get together
Oh, definitely.
and to talk.
Yeah.
But like even outside of that, like we do, you know, go to concerts, movies, or other events.
Yep.
And I always look forward to it. And it's
Oh,
it's like, you know, we just get in the car. We don't have to say anything. We just start laughing about some stupid
Exactly.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, but that's a long time working through many lifetimes, because you've had many lifetimes on Earth. You've had 355, and you've had 347.
That's a long time.
So
Means
that's
I die a
yeah.
lot.
And they go lifetimes is to a soul the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
We think it's a long time, but there's no time to the soul. Okay, and it's they're showing me that started way back when, in Egypt, when you were children, you were siblings. And what were they? What was their gender? You were a boy and a girl. You were twins, boy and a girl twins. And that's when it started. You looked out for each other, you survived, you helped each other survive, you were in many different lifetimes together, taking care of each other, helping each other. You're still doing that. I think that's beautiful. Like I said, we don't get that chance very often to have that soul connection.
So is it common for souls that are connected like that to find each other continually?
Oh, absolutely. Well, because usually you make a contract to do that.
Okay.
Because it's a respite from life when you have that connection, and you get to spend time together, and it's always good to make time for each other, because you help each other grow, actually, in terms of what's valuable. You learn to grow how to love unconditionally, how to trust unconditionally, how to accept unconditionally. They're all important to soul growth. And you would do that much more oftentimes than anybody else in the whole world. Because children play a different part in our lives, partners play a different part in our lives, wives or husbands play a different part in our lives, and they help us grow, but it's not the same as having that soul connection like you're one almost. Even though you're not.
Yeah.
But on the soul level, you're very, very connected. And you've always followed each other around. You still do.
Yeah, in a weird way, we do.
Yeah.